Welcome and thank you for joining us today for Down Payment Programs 101. Today we're going to cover the basics about down payment assistance and homebuyer assistance programs, give you a foundation from which to start conversations with new buyers about these programs. And our goal will be to give you enough information to help you feel confident and competent approaching new home buyers and discussing down payment assistance options with them. So we're going to look at the commonalities, the differences, the nuances across several different types of the most common home buyer assistance programs. So we have people in the background answering questions as we go. We are also recording this. We'll get you the recording and some additional materials afterwards. But with that, let me introduce Will Medina, part of our team here at Down Payment Resource, and he's going to be our presenter today. Will, take it away.
Sean, thank you very much. And thank you everyone for joining us today. As mentioned, my name is Will Medina from our DPR team. With us today, the wonderful voice of Sean Moss, our EVP of Product Development and Operations, and Tracy McIntosh, our Business Coordinator. As mentioned, they'll be answering questions in the background. So please, we urge you to use the Zoom questions feature to engage with them and with yourselves as well as we go. And before we get started, as mentioned as well, please note that the recording will be shared with everyone today. So a little about us. Down Payment Resource was launched in 2008 to solve a problem that drove a lot of people in real estate and mortgage lending rather crazy. There was no easy way to find and track homebuyer programs. So DPR developed an easier way to connect eligible borrowers with hard-to-find resources like down payment assistance programs, grants, mortgage credit certificates, and other forms of assistance. We provide tools and down payment assistance program information for real estate agents, loan officers, and ultimately consumers to help all of you find and understand the down payment solutions out there for your buyers. Ultimately, we're here to help you connect home buyers to the down payment help they need. So today, we'll be discussing the basics of loans, grants, tax credits, and other programs that can help eligible buyers achieve the down payment faster, cover closing costs, and get them into a home sooner than they would have otherwise. So a little lay of the land here, current state of homebuyer programs. Of all the homebuyer programs out there, 75% are some sort of down payment or closing cost assistance. Now that's really a catch-all category. And we'll dig deeper in a few minutes, but it's important to know that not all DPAs are the same. 87%, for example, have deferred payments, meaning you don't have a monthly payment on the DPA loan for some period of time. 58% are forgivable, either in part or in full, essentially becoming a grant over time. And 53% are both deferred and forgivable. And then there are still other DPAs that are true grants at closing or are repayable monthly after closing. Now, we'll break these down further as well as affordable first mortgages and tax credits or mortgage credit certificates in a moment. These programs are everywhere. Some markets have more homebuyer programs than others, but there's a state housing finance agency in every state, and their programs are available statewide. So there's literally no county or market in the country where there isn't at least some kind of down payment assistance or other homebuyer assistance. So who funds and administers these programs? As I mentioned, every state has at least one housing finance agency. City and county governments often have community or economic development departments or housing authorities. A number of nonprofits like NeighborWorks and Neighborhood Housing Services and others operate in markets across the country with varying programs. Many employers like municipal governments, hospitals, and universities also offer their employees down payment assistance. There are community action agencies, land trusts, and so many other organizations out there, all trying to open new doors to homeownership and promote housing growth and responsibility in their market, your market. And they've all got funded and available down payment assistance programs. Now, while you have to occupy the property you buy with down payment assistance, it's also important to note that a lot of these programs can help open up new inventory opportunities as well. For example, 29% of all home buyer programs allow multifamily homes. So that's 2 to 4 unit properties. And 31% of home buyer programs allow manufactured homes. Let's take stock of current DPA trends. Demand for DPAs is through the roof. That is a fact. DPA providers are increasing assistance amounts, income limits, and purchase price limits to help more buyers in today's market. There are new state and local programs that continue to launch in markets nationwide, and 83% of all DPAs are funded and available. So just as that sentence says down there, down payment assistance is still available and not going away. And there's so much more attention on affordability and down payment assistance now than in many years. What an opportunity. In fact, for the 5th straight quarter, we've seen an increase in the number of down payment assistance and other homebuyer programs available. More programs are coming to markets all over the country, offering you more opportunities to help new buyers. Now, all of these programs share some basic universal requirements. For example, they are only for owner-occupant buyers. These are not for vacation homes or investment properties, although in some markets, the assistance may be available to buyers of 2 to 4 unit properties, as long as they will occupy one of the units. They all still require some minimal investment from the buyer to keep a little skin in the game. This investment can take the form of a monetary investment, which can range from $500 to $1,000 or maybe more. And it's also important to remember that the buyers are also investing time. For example, by completing their home buyer education requirement, buyers typically complete a home buyer education course to qualify for a down payment assistance program. And of course, these aren't cash buyers. We're talking about buyers financing their home with a mortgage, so they have to qualify for a mortgage as well. Now, with those universal requirements in mind, let's take a look at the 3 most common types of homebuyer programs and what's unique about each of them. But before we get started, one thing that we love here is to get some feedback from our audience. So if you can put it in the chat box, we'd love to see it. We'd like to hear about any success stories that you may have had working with a down payment assistance program, or what interests you might have based off of these first slides. So we'll give you all a couple seconds, but please let us know in the chat. Right. We will get rolling, but hopefully as we go on, if a story pops up, please feel free to enter it. We'd love to hear from you all. Now, the 3 most common types of homebuyer assistance programs are the down payment assistance program, the affordable first mortgage, and mortgage credit certificates. There are variations and certainly many other names for each type of program, and that's what we'll clarify as we learn how each one of them works. But remember that as we go, no 2 programs are exactly the same, but we're going to learn the basics of each type so you can understand at a glance what your options are. And to start, we'll review down payment assistance programs. DPA programs are by far the most common type of homebuyer assistance in most cities. Every state has a housing finance agency, which is the housing division of their state government, and just about all of them have some form of a down payment assistance program, as well as local government and nonprofit program providers who offer down payment assistance. These programs are typically grants or silent seconds that offer down payment assistance of several thousand to tens of thousands of dollars to eligible buyers for down payment help. The infographic common forms that they will take, which grants, gifts that do not have to be repaid. Repayable seconds are funds provided at closing that may or may not accrue interest, and the loan could range from 5 to 30 years with varying repayment terms. Deferred or silent seconds, where repayment of the original amount is postponed until one of several events occurs, commonly when the borrower sells the property, refinances, or a change in occupancy. And lastly, forgivable seconds, where some or all of the original down payment assistance is forgiven. Often a percentage of the loan is forgiven each year for a predefined number of years. As an example, it's common for a forgivable DPA to be forgiven 20% per year over 5 years. And often, down payment assistance programs also allow the funds to be used for closing costs, prepaid expenses such as escrow expenses, rehab, or repairs, which can be particularly important to enhance a property or accommodate livability standards for disabled buyers, and even loan principal reductions, the most common of uses. All of these uses help the buyer shed the costs of purchasing and financing a new home. And now we're even seeing more programs allow their funds to be used for temporary or permanent interest rate buy downs. One of the most common misconceptions about down payment assistance programs is that buyers must be first-time buyers. In fact, there are about 2,200 programs across the country maintained in down payment resource, and 38% of them have no first-time homebuyer requirement. Now, beyond that, most programs adhere to HUD's definition of a first-time homebuyer, which effectively states that you're a first-time homebuyer if you haven't owned a home in the last 3 years, with still more exceptions to that rule for widows, divorcees, displaced homemakers, and other circumstances. But in just about every market across the country, we see programs that waive the first-time homebuyer requirement in targeted areas, make exceptions for veterans or certain professions, or just don't have the requirement at all. While down payment assistance comes in many forms, they all help the buyer reduce the down payment burden, open new doors to homeownership, and pocket a little extra cash upfront and along the way for other homeownership obligations. Many of these programs are grants, meaning they are interest-free, payment-free gifts to buyers who meet the eligibility requirements. Others may bear interest, but defer the payments for the life of the loan until sale, or even better, until the affordability period expires. So for example, many programs stipulate that the buyer occupy the property for a certain number of years. That may be anything between 3 to 10 years, and then the lien is forgiven, essentially becoming a grant. For those programs that are not grants, many will take second or third lien position to allow for layering of other assistance programs. So what are the eligibility requirements? Well, most have the following limits. Eligibility depends on the program and the funding sources. That is key. Income and purchase price limits are always market adjusted, often based on calculations for the area median income or the average income of their market. But basically, they all have income limits ranging from 80% all the way up to 140% of area median income, or AMI, and sometimes even higher, which can creep into six-figure incomes in many cities. They typically have sales price limits too, but those are usually in line with HUD's loan limits in each market, offering assistance at or beyond median home price values. The location of the property is also critical, as each program, especially at the city or county level, offers assistance within specific boundaries, such as city or county limits. But remember that the programs from your state housing finance agency offer assistance statewide, covering your entire market. We even have some nationally available programs integrated into down payment resource. Some programs have more needs-based eligibility criteria that involve an evaluation of each buyer's scenario and assistance needs by the program's administrator. Most programs will mirror first mortgage requirements, as an example, requiring a FICO score of 620 or higher. Homeownership history makes a big difference too. Many programs are only for first-time home buyers, but there are many for repeat buyers or even current owners as well. And remember that a first-time home buyer is simply someone who hasn't owned in the last 3 years. Now, I'll expand on eligibility as it pertains to military service and certain professions in a few moments, but both can open new doors to assistance that may not be available to the general public. Ultimately, these programs reduce the buying cost for a buyer and expedite their timeline by offering down payment or closing cost help that enables a buyer to reduce their out-of-pocket expenses and retain their liquid savings. As an example, Think of someone obtaining FHA financing where they'll have to put 3.5% down. If a DPA program helps them bring more to the table and instead qualify for a conventional loan at 5% down, this effectively lowers the monthly payments and the long-term financing cost. Specifically, an FHA mortgage has expensive upfront mortgage insurance premiums and higher monthly mortgage insurance costs that last the life of the loan, whereas conventional mortgages have no upfront mortgage insurance premiums and lower monthly mortgage insurance premiums that can be canceled once the buyer gets to 80% loan to value. When you reduce loan to value, you also lower debt to income ratios, which help more buyers qualify and increase their home ownership possibilities. Most importantly, it increases the purchasing power of a buyer's income, allowing them to more readily qualify for the home they like, and in some cases qualify for a little extra home to suit their family needs. Of course, reducing monthly payments also allows for a little extra cash every month to be put into savings, which has been shown to improve default rates. Ultimately, increased purchase power offers a competitive advantage. Many down payment assistance programs require the buyer complete a homebuyer education course, which provides valuable information about the home buying process and resulting responsibilities of homeownership down the road. This better prepares potential buyers for the obligations they face as owners and the steps they'll have to take to get there, ultimately enabling them to be better clients and more adept decision makers for you along the way. More and more, down payment providers are offering online education options for their homebuyer courses. Course material is typically in line with HUD certified homebuyer education. Most courses are simply an 8-hour class that can be completed on a Saturday or during a few evenings of online sessions at the consumer's discretion. This allows buyers to work ahead towards down payment assistance pre-approval and hit the market as more competitive and informed shoppers. Most importantly, these buyers are far more likely, according to HUD and the Harvard Joint Center for Housing Studies, to be successful owners down the road. Default rates are significantly lower when home buyer education is completed before closing. Now we'll look at another of the most common home buyer programs, the Affordable First Mortgage. Affordable first mortgages are additional mortgage options typically only available through a state or local housing finance agency. The most common benefits you'll see are below market interest rates, reduced mortgage insurance costs, and allowances for higher loan to value. For example, Fannie Mae's HFA Preferred and Freddie Mac's HFA Advantage offer reduced mortgage insurance below a standard conventional product, all with a higher LTV. You can typically combine these affordable first mortgage products with down payment assistance and/or tax credits from those housing finance agencies. Affordable first mortgages help further reduce the cost of homeownership for new buyers. Lowering monthly payments through lower rates or mortgage insurance pricing helps increase the purchasing power of each buyer and can potentially expedite homeownership for them, getting them into a home sooner than they would have otherwise been able to. Now let's look at the third option of the most common homebuyer programs, the Mortgage Credit Certificate. The Mortgage Credit Certificate, or MCC, is available from state and local housing finance agencies in some states. Not every state offers an MCC, but if there's one in your market, take a look. They are a great benefit for home buyers. This offers a federal income tax credit of up to $2,000 per year. Now, eligible buyers must get an MCC prior to closing, but they then get to use it every year for the life of their mortgage. The MCC tax credit helps offset part of your mortgage interest costs, and you still get to deduct the rest of the mortgage interest you paid each year. MCCs help reduce a buyer's federal income tax liability by offering a credit for mortgage interest paid. Some MCC providers will allow a lender to take the MCC credit amount and annualize that over a year to increase a buyer's qualifying income. And some MCC providers will also reissue an MCC through a future refinance. So let's take a look at an example of how an MCC works. So take a $200,000 home. The buyer closes and makes 12 payments in the year. They paid 4% interest, so $8,000 in interest that year. The MCC allows you to claim 25% of the mortgage interest paid as a tax credit. So in this example, $2,000. But the homeowner still gets to claim the rest of the $6,000 of mortgage interest paid as a tax deduction every year. So I'd like to wrap up this breakdown of the most common homebuyer programs with a few other scenarios where there may be additional or unique benefits for your clients. Now, there are many programs that offer additional or unique incentives to buyers purchasing in targeted areas, which are areas with higher foreclosure rates, vacancy rates, unemployment rates, or parts of town most in need of community investment. Typically, there will be no first-time homebuyer requirement. The assistance amount is increased, and the income limits and sales price limits are often higher. The idea here is to promote homeownership in revitalization areas, particularly so that core service providers and professionals can live where they work. Now, these targeted areas are all over the map, not just in big cities. Targeted areas are usually bounded by specific cities, zip codes, or census tracts, or maybe sometimes entire counties. There are also special programs available in many markets that target certain professions, typically teachers and educators, police officers, firefighters, healthcare workers, and municipal employees. As an example, in Georgia, the state funds the Georgia Dream program that offers $7,500 in down payment assistance to eligible buyers. But teachers, police officers, and nurses can get an additional $2,500 for a total of $10,000 in down payment and closing cost assistance. The idea behind these programs is to enable homeownership among local core service providers. And many of these programs have very broad definitions of terms like educator to include not just classroom teachers, but public school system employees at large like paraprofessionals, librarians, school nurses, or protectors could include police officers, sheriff's deputies, corrections and probation officers, and more. So look for these programs in your market. Another targeted audience of eligible buyers is our armed forces active duty personnel and veterans. There are so many programs out there that waive the first-time homebuyer requirement for veterans. Some offer higher assistance amounts too. Many of these programs can be used in conjunction with VA loans and ultimately offer our veterans a little more flexibility to become buyers despite homeownership history. And some of these programs offer the same or similar incentives to active military and Guard or Reserves members. So we've given you a lot of information today, and before we move on to us showing you how to access down payment assistance information, if you haven't had the opportunity, as requested earlier today, let's take a few seconds, put in the chat any opportunities, recent opportunities you've had to either have a down payment assistance discussion, or if you haven't put in a story in which you've helped the buyer who's used down payment assistance, please feel free. We'll give you all a couple seconds, and then we'll go from there. Okay, great. Well, as stated, I know we've given you a lot of information today, but we definitely want you to know how to access all of these DPA programs once we leave this webinar. So I'll show you in a couple of ways you can access the DPA info and start to enhance your marketing as well. So anyone can go to downpaymentresource.com and do an eligibility search for free anywhere in the country to see what's out there for you or your client. If you're an MLS partner with Down Payment Resource, we identify eligible listings in your MLS and match them to all available homebuyer assistance programs. And we provide these matching tools in your MLS agent and client portal listing reports. You also get Down Payment Connect for free through these MLS partners. So check out DPR and let your clients know what's available and talk to your lending partners about which programs they offer. And please let us know if you have any questions along the way. Now, seeing here, we have some of our real estate partners, and we are continuing to onboard MLSs, and several more will be launching DPR in the coming weeks. If you're a member of one of the partner MLSs, when you're logged in into your MLS, look for our down payment resource button on eligible listings. You'll see these down payment buttons on agent reports as well as in your client portals. Click it and we will tell you or your client which programs are available for properties they like the most. Now, Down Payment Connect is free for members of our MLS partners. If you're an agent and not a member of one of those MLSs, you can subscribe to Down Payment Connect for your own DPA search page and lead gen tools. And loan officers, we have a version for you too, which allows you to control which programs consumers see so you are aligned with the product offerings at your company. But Will, what is Down Payment Connect? Well, Down Payment Connect allows buyers to complete a program search from your personalized link. This provides you with the opportunity to generate leads by engaging and educating new buyers about the down payment assistance programs in your market. And you can use your Down Payment Connect link on your website, in your email marketing, and all social media. And just to be clear, you are not buying leads with Down Payment Connect. You are taking advantage of our unique DPA eligibility platform to generate your own leads. And nobody else gets your leads, just you. So we encourage you to get creative and reach more buyers and educate them on these opportunities. We'd also love for you to join our growing Facebook group, Down Payment Insiders. There you can join over 11,000 real estate agents, loan officers, housing counselors, and even DPA providers as they all discuss best practices with down payment assistance programs, first-time home buyers, working with lenders, learning from each other, etc. You can listen in and learn or participate in the dialogue and engage with your peers. And we've also found that it's a great place to network and connect with loan officers that offer down payment assistance programs in your market. So I'll leave you with a case study that illustrates how important down payment assistance info is for realtors and home buyers. Amber was a new agent in Florida, and no one was helping her peers understand down payment requirements as many of them began to explore homeownership. So she stepped in and learned all about down payment assistance programs and built her business serving those same buyers. And just like Amber's clients, DPA customers become customers for life. So tell their story, help them, and they will refer their family members and their friends. In closing, feel free to reach out to us with any questions. We're here to help you and your clients find the assistance they need. We can be reached at info@downpaymentresource.com. And if there are any additional questions, we are going to stick around for a few minutes to answer them. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you, Will. So we've got a lot of activity going on in the Q&A. Guys, we're trying to keep up the questions in chat, but if you can put them in the Q&A, it's a lot easier for us to track them. So a couple questions that we've seen a lot of, I'll go ahead and address these. We've seen a lot of you ask, how do I find a lender that can help with these programs? Or another variation of that is, do lenders have to be approved for a particular program? So yes, lenders have to choose to participate in a given DPA or down payment assistance program. And then for many of those programs, the lender has to be approved by the program provider. But to answer the question that many of you have been asking, we provide you with links to who those participating lenders are. Whether you do a search at downpaymentresource.com for help and then get your list of programs and learn more, click learn more on any program, we tell you first thing who those lenders are that offer that program. Or Will, if you can go back to the screen with all the MLS partners on it, I want to address a couple other questions that we've had too. So if your MLS is listed here, then they are a partner of ours. Now, NYSAR and CAR in California, those are not MLSs, right? Those are the state associations. So there's no listing data integration. But for the rest of you, San Antonio, Houston, Jacksonville, Florida, California Regional in Southern California, Greater Alabama in Birmingham, Spokane Association in Washington, Mybor in Indianapolis. Although you're in the middle of a migration, we're working on the DPR integration there. And then Northwest MLS in Seattle, Central Virginia Regional in Richmond, RealComp in Detroit, One Key in Greater New York City and up the Hudson Valley, Greater Lansing in Michigan, First Multiple Listing Service or FMLS in Atlanta, North Star MLS in the Twin Cities, MLS PIN in Massachusetts, Stellar in Florida, and Austin Board of Realtors in Texas. If you are a member of any of those MLSs, then down payment assistance program information is integrated into your listings, whether you're on Matrix or Paragon or Flex MLS. Down payment assistance data is integrated into your listings in both agent and client views, so that when you are looking at properties and you see, Will, if you can go one more slide forward here, if you're looking at listings in your database, in your listing system, and you see this down payment button, just click on it and you'll see on your screen all the programs available for that property that you were looking at. And then you can click on the details of any program. The first thing we show you in those details is who the participating lenders are. So again, if you're a member of any of those MLSs, look for this down payment button, and you can get all kinds of information, including where to take the home buyer education class, who the participating lenders are, how the program works, qualifying criteria, and so forth. So that addresses, I think, most of the questions about who the lenders are and how to find a lender. I'll tell you this too: if you're looking for a lender, think about there's a couple different ways for you to connect with loan officers that offer these programs. First and foremost, talk to your existing loan officers, the ones you work with already. They may offer these programs and this just hadn't come up, right? You hadn't had a client that needed down payment assistance, and so the topic never came up. If they offer any down payment assistance programs, they'll tell you. And then also talk to your broker, talk to your peers at your brokerage. See if they work with any loan officers that offer down payment assistance that they trust, that they would refer you to. And then you can always go to the program provider. Look at your state housing finance agency. Every state has a statewide housing finance agency, and start there. See who their participating lenders are. And many of those state agencies publish a list of top producers. So those are the people that do the most volume with those particular down payment assistance programs. But what you're looking for really is, excuse me, who offers the programs, who does them well, and who wants your first-time home buyer or DPA business. So those are some ideas. And then you can also go to the Down Payment Insiders group. Will, if you don't mind going to that Down Payment Insiders screen so we can give everybody the link there. In fact, Tracy just put the link in chat. So go to chat real quick. That is our Down Payment Insiders Facebook group. And as Will said, this is it's a networking opportunity. We see a lot of agent and loan officer connections being made here, but we also hear a lot of cool stories, people sharing marketing ideas, ideas about working with down payment assistance programs, partnering up with loan officers, and so forth. So we encourage you to join the group and listen in, or join the group and network, or join the group and share your success stories, your challenges, and how you overcame them. So let's see, we've had several more questions. We do have Spanish language material. We have a few customizable flyers in Spanish. I'm actually going to put the link to our marketing resources page in, let's see, marketing resources, including customizable flyers. in Spanish. So I'm going to put that here in chat. There you go. For those of you who are looking for any marketing resources to support your effort and your marketing with down payment assistance, there are marketing flyers. There are video tutorials there. So we have customizable flyers in English and Spanish. There's several graphics packages that you can use. So check out those marketing resources. Let's see, there were a few other questions here that I wanted to address. We saw a lot of you say in the chat that you were a brand new agent and you're just starting to work with customers that need down payment help. That's great. We love to hear that. Good for you. Thank you for helping those buyers, including with down payment assistance. And you may find that not only is that very rewarding, but once you start to help a few buyers that need down payment assistance and maybe couldn't have bought otherwise, you know, they were on the cusp of qualifying and that down payment assistance program got them over the hump, you will find that that turns into a gem of a referral source for you. So good for you. We encourage you to keep up with that. You can always go to downpaymentresource.com and do a search for down payment help. Anybody, anywhere, anytime, any part of the country. If you are one of our if you're a member of one of our MLS customers, you've also got all of this integrated into your MLS system. You've got Down Payment Connect for free. If you're not a member of one of our MLS customers, then let's get you in chat a link to Down Payment Connect. Do not pay for Down Payment Connect if you are a member of one of our MLS customers. And Will, if you don't mind, one more time, can you scroll back to that list? Down Payment Connect. I'm putting the link in chat. But again, do not pay us for Down Payment Connect if you're a member of one of these MLSs. Now, NYSAR, CAR, and KC Association, those are associations, they're not MLS customers. So you don't have Down Payment Connect for free there. But if you're a member of one of these MLSs, you already have Down Payment Connect. I just put the link in there for anybody. I know we have some loan officers here and some real estate agents in other parts of the country. If you want to subscribe to Down Payment Connect and use that to educate buyers and engage them and generate leads and potentially see more features, then go to that Down Payment Connect page we just put in chat and check out that tool. All right. Before I continue, we have a lot more questions here. Tracy, Veronica, anything that you wanted to cover that you've already answered or trends that you saw?
On my end, Sean, I feel like you have covered the big things that I keep answering and repeating over here. I don't know if you have anything else, Veronica, that you're wanting to add or touch on.
No, I agree. I think most of the big topics have been addressed. I did see a question in regards to, are there education courses that are offered in Spanish for first-time home buyers? And I believe so. I would check the HUD-approved counseling and education providers to locate those.
Good deal. I'm seeing a couple people from Mybor in Indiana. You guys are going through a conversion to a new MLS system right now. Mybor is a down payment resource partner. However, through that conversion, they were sort of step-by-step migrating vendors like us from the old to the new platform. Down payment resource is not done yet on the new platform, but Mybor is a customer. They are a partner that is getting done. While on this webinar, I have reached out to your staff there at corporate. So we'll get that done for you. Let's see. We've got several questions. Actually, we got a lot of questions in here. So let me just answer some of these questions in the Q&A. Do builders, lenders at new construction neighborhoods offer down payment assistance? Janet, yes, they do. That doesn't mean that universally they all do it, but there are plenty of lenders that builders use, or not necessarily the builder's preferred lender, but other lenders who can do DPA. And that includes, in many cases, new construction homes. Now, that's not to finance the construction, right? That's to purchase the home once the certificate of occupancy is issued and the house is done. But yeah, we see down payment assistance used with new construction all the time. Agents, loan officers, great idea to call on local builders. Make sure that they understand that if one house in their neighborhood is eligible for down payment help, it's quite likely that many are. So great opportunity to drum up some new business, help some new buyers into a newly constructed brand new home. Let's see, Rodney is in Massachusetts, need help navigating DPA inside the MLS. So I presume you're with MLS PIN, Rodney. I'm going to put our email address in the chat, info@downpaymentresource.com. And Will, if you don't mind, maybe go to the last screen so we can just leave that up. Any questions or help? So there is our email address. If you have questions or need help after this call, reach out to us at info@downpaymentresource.com. Let's see. K. Raji asks, will I, as an agent, have to do the research for programs that can be layered, or is there a tool on the website that assists with that? So that is a very complicated maze of potential opportunities. There are 2,300 programs across the country. There might be 50 or 80 or 200 in your state, depending on where you are. So to map out every last one and which others it can be layered with, that's not something that we've been able to do yet. However, we can tell you generally, if you're working with a state agency, they will often combine with most local municipal or nonprofit programs. So there are some sort of general rules you can follow. I would say, Raji, don't spend so much time looking for programs that can be layered. Get to know a few in your market and get with a loan officer that offers them. And the loan officer will know, or will come to know, which ones can be layered as well. But remember too, as you start to layer or stack down payment assistance programs, your client, your buyer, or if you're a loan officer, your borrower, they're going to have to qualify for the most restrictive of those DPA programs. So if you layer 2 or 3 down payment assistance programs, they're going to have to still qualify for all of them, including the most restrictive requirements from among those. So income might be most restrictive on one, and credit is the most restrictive on the other. I'm not trying to discourage you from stacking DPAs. That's a great way to get a buyer into a home. But just know that the loan officer has to offer all of the ones you're going to layer, and the buyer has to qualify for the most restrictive requirements among those layered down payment assistance programs. But the loan officer can help guide you through that. Let's see, can an individual get a DPA for building their own home? You can use down payment assistance to purchase a newly constructed home once the CO is issued, but you can't use down payment assistance to finance the construction of a home. There just aren't any programs out there for that scenario. Kelly asks, do realtors need to be certified to host DPA or first-time homeowner seminars? Kelly, I suppose that depends on how you're going to host them. So if you want to partner up with your state housing finance agency, you could probably get bigger audiences through them. They would probably love to have agents out in the field teaching those classes, but they're probably also going to want to make sure that you understand their content, their programs, and so forth. So there may be a certification process. But anybody, anytime, anywhere, guys, you can host your own first-time homebuyer seminars. Take the time to come up with the content, come up with some unique hook or incentive for them to come to your seminar, and then maybe some sort of unique takeaway or homework or whatever. But yeah, you can certainly host your own first-time homebuyer seminars and talk about down payment assistance programs. That's a great idea. Let's see, Alicia asks, does your program offer a DPA certification or designation for realtors or MLOs? No, Alicia, we do not. That's a great question. There are a small few such designations around the country from local boards or state boards, but we don't yet offer such a thing ourselves. That's something we would very much like to explore, and we've had some conversations recently about how we might do that and who we might have to partner with in order to do so. So look for that in the future. You know, it's not going to be next week or next month, but that's something that we would like to pursue, to kind of take this webinar and some of our additional content, maybe turn it into a CE course that gets you a designation or something like that. Great idea, Alicia, and not lost on us. Brad asks, how do you embed your link inside one of those flyers? So Brad, I presume you went to our marketing resources page that we put in the chat and grabbed a flyer. So you can edit the bottom right quadrant of those flyers, and that includes, you just edit it like a Word document. So if you want to put your name and your email and, you know, find down payment help and hyperlink find down payment help to your down payment connect page, then just, you know, highlight the text, use the insert link option, and just edit it like you would normally do so with a Word document. But as always, let us know if you have questions or need help. info@downpaymentresource.com. So let's see, Jorge asks, ballpark figure, how much would a buyer pay out of pocket? There's just not an answer, a simple answer. I mean, it depends on their mortgage. How much did they put down? You know, what were the closing costs? Did the seller cover any closing costs? What's the price? I mean, a lot of the fees that you pay to close, right, are based on a percent of price. So I don't know how to answer that question, Jorge. Sorry. Let's see. Tatiana asks, how long would they take completing the required education? I presume you mean the buyer. Typically, a home buyer education class is going to be required in order to access down payment assistance. The DPA provider will tell you where to go to complete that class, as will we. We will show you that information on our platform, whether it's through your MLS or on downpaymentresource.com. But the class itself is typically about 6 to 8 hours of HUD certified home buying and home owning educational content. So they're learning about the home buying process, and they're also learning about how to remain in the home as long-term successful owners. But a lot of these classes can be done online. So Tatiana, while it's, you know, 6 to 8 hours of total effort, you know, they could maybe spend, you know, an hour a night on it for a week and be done, or, you know, do it all at once on a Saturday or something like that. So I think that covers most of the questions here. If we didn't get to your question, then we apologize. We had a very big audience today. We had a lot of activity here in the chat and Q&A. You've got our contact information on the screen. And Will, thank you for presenting. Tracy, Veronica, thank you for doing the Q&A. If you guys have any other questions, reach out to us at info@downpaymentresource.com, and we will get you the recording, the slides, and some additional content and resources by tomorrow. So thanks for joining. Hope that was helpful. Go grab Down Payment Connect and start talking to home buyers about down payment assistance. Have a great day.